There's a feeling that washes over almost everyone in the first few months of retirement, and it's wonderful and dangerous at the same time. After 40 years of working, saving, and denying yourself, you finally have time, and you finally have a nest egg sitting there, and a little voice says, "We made it. We earned this. Let's celebrate. Let's finally buy the thing." And that feeling, that giddy, joyful, we deserve it feeling, is exactly the feeling that leads to the purchases retirees regret most. Because in that honeymoon phase of retirement, when the relief is fresh and the money looks like more than it will ever look again, people buy big, expensive, hard-to-undo things. And then a year or two later, sitting with the maintenance bills or the empty driveway, or the contract they can't get out of, they think, what on earth were we thinking? So today I want to walk you through the 4 purchases that retirees regret most in that first year, the 4 big ones I see over and over. But I'm not going to just tell you what not to buy and leave you feeling scolded. For every single one, I'm going to tell you what those same retirees say they'd buy instead. Because the goal here isn't to talk you out of enjoying your money, just the opposite. It's to help you spend it on the things that actually make retirement joyful instead of the things that quietly drain it. And I want to be clear and fair right up front, because I'm not here to be the fun police. For some people, a few of these purchases are absolutely the right call, and I'll tell you exactly who. The problem is almost never the thing itself. The problem is buying it too fast, too new, and too permanently in the emotional high of that first year, before you've actually tested whether it fits the life you're only just starting to live. Let me give you a couple to follow. I'll call them Dave and Linda, both 66, freshly retired, feeling wonderful, with a nice nest egg and a long list of dreams. They're about to make some of these exact decisions, and we'll see how they could go wrong, and how, with a little patience, they go beautifully right instead. Let's dig in. Number 1, and it's the classic, the granddaddy of retirement regret purchases. The big recreational vehicle, the motorhome, the RV, and its cousin, the boat. I understand the dream completely, because it's a beautiful one. You picture the open road, the national parks, the freedom to go anywhere, the grandkids around a campfire. It's the postcard of retirement. And for a small number of people who truly take to the lifestyle, it delivers exactly that. But let me show you why it tops the regret list for almost everyone else, with real numbers. Because the numbers are brutal. First, depreciation. A new RV loses about 20 to 30% of its value in the very first year. So on a $100,000 motorhome, and many cost far more, you can lose $25,000 in the first 12 months. Drive it off the lot, and it's worth a quarter less almost immediately. In 5 years, that $100,000 RV is typically worth somewhere between $45,000 and $60,000. It's one of the fastest depreciating large purchases you can make. Boats are just as bad, 15 to 25% gone the first year, and roughly half the value gone by year 5. But here's the part that really gets people, the part nobody warns them about. The cost of owning it, even when it just sits there. You've got storage, because most people can't park a 40-foot rig at the house. That's hundreds to a few $1,000s a year. Insurance, registration, and maintenance, which runs around 3 to 5% of the value every year, because these are complicated machines with roofs that leak and systems that fail. Add it all up, and you can easily spend $6,000 or $7,000 a year just to keep an RV that you might use 3 or 4 weeks. Do that math with me. If you use it 3 weeks a year, and between depreciation and upkeep it's costing you many thousands, you could be spending several $1,000s for every single week you actually camp. You could stay in a beautiful hotel every one of those nights for a fraction of that. And the deepest regret isn't even the money. It's that most people simply don't use it as much as they imagined. The reality of driving a house down the highway, the setup, the dumping of tanks, the tight campgrounds, it's more work than the fantasy. So it sits, and every month it sits. It costs money and loses value. That's why so many RVs are for sale with 1,000 miles on them, sold at a big loss within 2 years by people who discovered the dream, and the reality didn't match. So what do those retirees say they'd buy instead? 2 things. First, if the RV life genuinely calls to you, rent the experience before you buy the asset. You can rent an RV for a week for a fraction of what ownership costs, and take 2 or 3 trips that way. If after renting 3 or 4 times you're still in love, then, and only then, consider buying. And buy one that's 2 to 4 years old so someone else already absorbed that brutal first-year depreciation for you. Second, many retirees find that what they actually wanted wasn't the RV at all, it was the travel, the adventure, the time in beautiful places. And that you can buy directly. The money you would have sunk into a depreciating motorhome can fund years of wonderful trips, with someone else doing the driving and the cleaning. Dave and Linda rented an RV twice, had a ball, realized they didn't want to own one, and put that $100,000 toward a decade of trips instead. No regret. Number 2. The dream home bought in a hurry or the big move made too fast. This one's more emotional, and the mistake comes in a few flavors. Some people sell the family home the moment they retire and buy their forever dream house in a new state. Florida, Arizona, the Carolinas, a place they fell in love with on vacation. Others buy bigger than they need, a beautiful show place with rooms they'll never use, and the regret shows up fast. Here's why moving too fast is so costly, and again, let's use real numbers. The round-trip cost of moving is enormous. When you sell your old house, the real estate commission alone is often around 6%. On a $400,000 home, that's $24,000. Then there are closing costs on the new place and the moving expenses themselves. All told, a major move can easily cost you $30,000 to $40,000 in pure transaction costs. Money that just evaporates. And here's the killer. If you move somewhere new and discover you don't like it, you're too far from the grandkids, you don't know anyone, the summers are unbearable, the health care isn't what you're used to, and you move back, you pay all of that a second time. Now you've spent $70,000 or $80,000 learning a lesson. And it's not just the money. People underestimate how much of their happiness was tied to their community. Their doctors, their church, their friends of 30 years, their kids and grandkids a short drive away. They chase the sunshine and discover that a beautiful place full of strangers is lonely. That's a regret no amount of nice weather fixes. So what do they wish they'd done instead? The single best piece of advice in this whole video for anyone dreaming of relocating: rent first. Before you sell your home and buy in a new place, go rent there for 6 months to a year. Live through a full cycle. Feel what August feels like in Arizona, or what it's like to be 4 states away from your family at Christmas. Renting first cost you a little, buying wrong cost you a fortune and a year of your life. And for those staying put but tempted to upgrade, consider that the regret usually runs the other way. Most retirees who right-size to something smaller and simpler are happy. The ones who bought the big show place often wish they had less house to clean, heat, and pay taxes on. When Dave and Linda got the itch to move to the coast, they rented a condo there for the winter first. They loved the visit but realized they'd missed the grandkids too much to live there. That test drive saved them from a very expensive mistake. Number 3 is the one I feel most strongly about, because it's not just a regret. It's often a trap deliberately designed to catch people in exactly this stage of life: the timeshare or the vacation club. You know how this goes. You're on a trip, someone offers you a free breakfast or a gift card to sit through a short presentation, and 90 minutes later you're in a room with a very skilled salesperson and a contract, being told this is an investment in a lifetime of family memories. The pressure is intense and expertly designed, and retirees, with time on their hands and a nest egg in the bank, are the prime target. Let me tell you what you're actually buying, with the real numbers. The average timeshare costs around $24,000 up front, and a huge chunk of that price, often 40 to 60%, is just the sales commission and marketing. So the thing is worth far less than you pay the moment you sign. Then come the annual maintenance fees, which average around $1,500 a year and rise about 5% every single year, forever, whether you use the place or not. Those fees never end. Your kids can even inherit them. And here's the devastating part, the part the salesperson never mentions. A timeshare has almost no resale value. When people try to get out, they find that 90% or more of timeshares are worth between $0 and $1,000 on the resale market. People literally list them on eBay for $1, just to escape the maintenance fees, and still struggle to find takers. There's a whole industry of timeshare exit companies that charge $3,000 to $10,000 more to help desperate owners get out. And many of those are scams on top of the original scam. Let me put the whole thing in perspective with one comparison. Over 10 years, that timeshare, the buy-in plus the ever-rising fees, can cost you well over $40,000. And at the end, it's worth nothing. Meanwhile, renting that exact same resort week every year for 10 years, with zero commitment and total flexibility to go somewhere different whenever you want, would often cost you around $20,000, less than half, and you're never trapped. In many cases, a single year's maintenance fee is more than it would cost to just rent the same week outright. So what should you do instead? Just book your vacations directly, pay for the trips you actually want, when you want them, wherever you want them. You keep your flexibility, you keep your $24,000, and you never pay a fee for a week you didn't use. If someone offers you a free breakfast to attend a presentation, enjoy knowing you can simply say no and walk out with your money intact. The math almost never favors owning. The freedom always favors renting. Number 4. The brand new luxury car and the lifestyle inflation that rides along with it. After a lifetime of practical, sensible cars, a lot of newly retired people decide it's finally time for the nice one. The luxury sedan, the fully loaded SUV, the sports car they always wanted. And look, if there's ever a time to treat yourself, retirement is a fair candidate. But the brand new part is where the regret lives. The numbers here are as clear as they get. The average new car in 2026 costs around $48,000, and it loses about 20 to 25% of its value in the first year alone. That's roughly $10,000 gone in 12 months, and about 30% gone within 2 years. Meanwhile, the average 2 to 3-year-old used car costs around $27,000, more than $20,000 less, and it's already absorbed that steepest, most painful part of the depreciation curve. It still has modern safety features, it's still under a good portion of its warranty, and it'll serve you just as well. So the buy instead here is simple, and it's a money saver, not a sacrifice. Buy the nice car, but buy it lightly used, 2 to 4 years old, low miles. You get the same leather seats, the same smooth ride, the same reliability, and you let the first owner eat that $10,000 first-year loss. You could pocket $20,000 and never feel a single day of difference in your driving. But there's a bigger lesson hiding inside this fourth one, and it's really the lesson of the whole video. So let me say it plainly. The new car is often just the most visible symptom of something quieter and more dangerous. Overspending in that honeymoon phase. The first year of retirement is when people, flush with excitement and a full account, ramp up their spending all at once. The car, the furniture, the club membership, the big trips, the generous gifts to the kids, all in the same 12 months. And here's why that timing is genuinely risky, not just unwise. The early years of retirement are the most fragile years for your nest egg. If you spend too much right at the start, especially if the market happens to dip in those first years, you can do permanent damage to how long your money lasts. Financial folks call it sequence of returns risk, and the plain English version is, the money you overspend in year 1 is the money that isn't there compounding for you in year 15. Pace yourself. The retirement is 30 years long. You don't have to buy all of it in the first spring. So let me pull these 4 together, because a pattern runs straight through all of them. The RV, the rushed dream home, the timeshare, the new luxury car, every one of them is a big, expensive, depreciating, hard-to-reverse purchase, made in the emotional high of a brand new retirement, before you've had time to learn what your retired life actually looks like. That's the common thread, and the antidote is the same every time. Slow down, rent or test before you buy gently used instead of new, and never sign something permanent in the first flush of excitement. Let me make that vivid by adding up both paths for Dave and Linda, because the gap is staggering. Picture the regret path. A $100,000 new RV, a rushed move to the coast and back when it doesn't work out, a $24,000 timeshare, and a $48,000 new luxury car. Between the RV's first-year depreciation, the round-trip moving costs of a move they undo, the timeshare buy-in, and the new car premium overused, they've torched well over $100,000 of their nest egg in the first year. Much of it simply gone, and one of those purchases still billing them fees every year. Now picture the wise path. They rent the RV a few times instead of buying, rent on the coast for a winter before deciding to stay near the grandkids, skip the timeshare entirely and just book their trips, and buy a lovely 3-year-old car instead of new. Same joys, same adventures, same nice car in the driveway, and they've kept over $100,000 invested and working for them. That's not a small difference. That 100,000 left to grow could be the cushion that funds their care in their 80s. Same two people, same dreams, same first year. One path quietly poorer, one path secure. The only difference was patience. Now, before I tell you what to buy instead, let me give you a quick honorable mentions list. 3 more purchases that land in the regret pile a little less often than the big 4, but often enough that you should know them. The first is the big home renovation done too soon. Newly retired folks often pour $30, $50, $80,000 into remodeling the house right away. And then, a year later, realize they'd actually rather downsize and move. And none of that renovation money comes back out in the sale. The fix is the same as everything else on this list. Live in your retired life for a year before you commit big money to the house, because you may find you want a different house entirely. The second is the financial product bought out of fear. Remember that free steak dinner seminar we've talked about? Newly retired people, suddenly anxious about making their money last, are the perfect target for someone selling a complicated, high-commission annuity or insurance product that locks their money up for years, with steep penalties to get it back. Some annuities have a legitimate place, but never buy one under pressure in the first anxious months, from someone who fed you dinner. Sleep on it and run it past a fee-only advisor who doesn't earn a commission first. And the third is over-gifting to the adult kids. In the warm glow of that first year with the account looking full, it's tempting to hand large sums to your children. Pay off their car, fund a big down payment, bankroll a wedding. Generosity is beautiful, and I'd never talk you out of helping your family. But do it from a plan, not from a mood. And never give away money in year 1 that you might desperately need for your own care in year 20. Secure your own retirement first, then be as generous as your plan allows. The kindest thing you can do for your kids is to not become a financial burden on them later. Now here's the part I really want you to hear, because I promised this wouldn't just be a list of don'ts. What do the happiest retirees buy instead? Because they do spend money, they just spend it on different things. And they're glad they did. They buy experiences instead of objects. There's a good deal of research showing that spending on experiences, trips, classes, concerts, time with people, brings more lasting happiness than spending on things because the thing becomes ordinary and depreciates, while the experience becomes a memory that actually grows richer over time. Nobody sits on their porch at 80 treasuring the memory of a luxury car. They treasure the trip with their grandchildren. Think about the difference concretely. $24,000 in a timeshare buys you a maintenance bill that outlives you. That same $24,000 spent as experiences could be a big multi-generational trip where you rent a lake house for a week and fly in all the kids and grandkids and then do it again the next year and the year after and still have money left. One of those is a contract your children will resent inheriting. The other is the week they'll talk about at your funeral. Same dollars. Completely different legacy. When you feel the urge to buy something big, try asking what memory that money could make instead. The answer often redirects the whole purchase. They spend on their health, which is the highest return purchase in all of retirement. The good doctors, the dental work they put off, the gym membership, the physical therapy, the good mattress, the healthy food. Money spent keeping your body working is money that buys you more good years to enjoy everything else. They spend on time with the people they love, flying the family in, taking the kids and grandkids on a trip everyone will remember, being generous with their presence while everyone's still here and healthy. And here's a simple test you can run on any big purchase before you make it. 4 quick questions that would have caught every regret on this list. 1. Is this a thing that loses value fast, or an experience that becomes a memory? 2. Can I rent it, borrow it, or try it before I own it? 3. If I'm wrong about this, how hard and how expensive is it to undo? And 4. Am I buying this because I've thought it through, or because I'm riding the high of finally being free? Run any purchase through those 4 questions, and the regretful ones practically raise their own hand. The RV, the timeshare, the rushed move, they all fail that test. The trip with the grandkids, the good used car, the dental work you needed, they all pass. And the wisest of them spend a little money on good advice before they make any big move. A few hours with a fee-only financial planner who charges for their time and doesn't sell products, to pressure test a major purchase or a relocation before it's made. That small, boring expense has saved more retirements than almost anything else. Now, let me be honest and careful with you, the way I always try to be. I am not saying never buy an RV, never move, never own a nice car, never take a vacation. Some people use their RV 300 days a year and adore it. Some people move and it's the best decision they ever made. The point of this video was never deny yourself. You spent a lifetime earning this money and you should enjoy it, deeply and without guilt. The point is only this. In that first exciting year, the emotional high can push you into big, permanent, depreciating commitments before you've tested them against your real life. So test first, rent first, buy used, pace yourself, and put your money where the lasting joy actually is. Do that, and you won't be one of the folks with regret in their voice. 2 years from now, you'll be one of the ones who spent wisely and lived richly. And these numbers, the car prices, the fees, the depreciation rates, they're current for 2026, and they'll drift over time. So check the specifics when it's your turn to decide. But the pattern behind them doesn't change. New and depreciating and permanent, bought in a hurry, is where the regret lives. Tested and gently used and flexible is where the joy lives. Let me leave you with this. The goal of all that saving was never to have the biggest pile of stuff. It was to buy yourself freedom. The freedom to wake up and choose your day, to see the people you love, to go where you want, to feel secure. Be careful that in the rush to celebrate, you don't trade that hard-won freedom for a motorhome in the driveway and a contract you can't escape. Spend on the freedom. Spend on the memories. Spend on your health and your people. That's the retirement worth having. And it's the one you actually saved for. Before I let you go, let me help you find yourself in this, because you may be standing right at the edge of one of these decisions. If the open road is calling and there's an RV brochure on your kitchen table, go rent 1-3 times before you sign anything. Let the rentals tell you the truth. If you've got a house you love in a place you've only vacationed, go rent there for a season before you sell your home. If you've got a presentation on your calendar with a free gift attached, just enjoy the breakfast and keep your checkbook closed. And if you're about to trade in the practical old car for a brand new luxury one, shop the 2 to 4-year-old version of that exact same car and pocket the difference. Whichever one is closest to your life right now, that's your 90-day project. Not no, just not yet, and let me test it first. So before you make any big purchase this year, do just one thing. Wait 90 days and ask yourself whether you're buying the thing or buying the feeling. Because the feeling that you made it, that you're free, that you get to enjoy your life now, that part is already yours. You don't have to buy it. You already earned it.